dear Simon, and the awesome assembly of palpable adjudicators.
Forgiven.
Thank you. You're such a pushover. You should be a judge.
Yes.
That'd be good. Oh, no, we're coming up. Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Say something nice about me.
I wish to confess to you a story of a foreign trip from some 7 years ago. My wife, Debs, and 2-year-old son decided to head away on holiday to southern France on a posh camping trip. We decided to drive from our home in the English Midlands down to the French south coast. On planning this journey, we decided to complete it in 2 manageable chunks, stopping off at a hotel a few miles south of Paris to break up the journey. Always sensible if you've got a 2-year-old in the car. We stopped at a lovely 4-star hotel. We had a lovely meal, put our boy to bed, nice and early. As such, we got ourselves ready for an early night. Now, this resulted in an early wake-up time, for me especially. So I decided to take advantage of the hotel facilities, specifically the lovely swimming pool, and I went for a very early morning dip. I rummaged around in the suitcases in our room for some time and grabbed what I could in the dark whilst trying not to wake up anybody, and I reached for some shorts and trunks and thought I'd make sense of it when I got to the changing rooms. I headed down to the pool, entered the empty changing room and realised I had grabbed my white shorts and a pair of budgie smugglers. As you may be aware, white shorts are not ideal when wet and tend to reveal more than they should, and I really don't like wearing trunks. However, I thought the best thing would be to wear the trunks under the shorts to avoid any issues of transparency. Okay?
Yes, we're all with him.
I went to the pool and it was deserted, completely and utterly empty. I could enjoy an early morning swim all on my own. Did a couple of lengths and was getting into the swing of things. I was, however, finding that my trunks were quite uncomfortable under my shorts. I had put a few pre-holiday pounds on, to be honest, Father Simon, and they were feeling a little bit tighter than I recalled. I tried to persist with the swimming, but I was getting more and more uncomfortable. And then an idea struck me. In the middle of the still deserted pool, how many people were around? No one was around. I would remove my white shorts, remove my trunks, and put back on the white shorts and carry on regardless. Then, should anyone have entered the pool area before I finished my swim, I would simply wait for them to be at the deep end whilst I got out and headed back to the changing rooms, thus reducing the risk of any transparency-related embarrassment. Great plan.
Can't go wrong, this.
No.
Absolutely can't
Already
go wrong.
No.
And of course it went swimmingly. In fact, nobody else entered the pool area, and as such I had no need for any concern. I headed back to my room. Wife and boy were both dressed and up, and we all headed down for a well-earned breakfast before we set off on the second half of our epic journey. We're all seated at a lovely table by a very pleasant, albeit I have to say quite giggly, waitress. In fact, it turned out that all of the waitresses were pretty giggly and also a little bit pointy. As in not pointy-headed, they were pointing at me. And they're also a little bit whispery. They were all whispering to each other a lot, as did many of the diners. Surely we couldn't have been the first British people they'd ever seen. Come on. It was at this point that I turned round to see the unique feature of this dining area.
Oh, no.
There was an incredible glass wall, which was a viewing window to the underwater area of the pool. And it ran alongside the whole of the pool. You could see people swimming and splashing and treading water. In fact, I have to be honest and say that the glass acted as a magnifier in some areas.
Yeah.
So if someone had decided to, let's say, remove their shorts, they'd have been giving quite a show to everyone who was just enjoying their café au lait and a croissant. So clearly, this is what I need to say, says M, because I need forgiveness from my wife, who I have not told about this. And she's always wondered why there was a frisson, a rather odd atmosphere in that dining room that morning. I also seek forgiveness from the staff and patrons of the dining room that morning, who must to this day wonder exactly what was going on. These English exhibitionists, all of them. I can only apologise if it put them off saucisson for life, says M. Quite unnecessarily.
Yes, no
quite
need for
unnecessarily at the end. But if you're married to M, well, that's going to be quite a shock. Why wouldn't you just say, oh, right, the reason they're all pointing and laughing is because Anyway, so let's check in with Sister Bobby here, what she's making of that one.
Well, first of all, surely you'd have thought of security cameras, especially with public swimming pools, and hospitals. There would have been, even if there was nobody there, there would have been.
Well, maybe there weren't any.
No, there would have, just because of safety. If it's
He's
open to the
underwater.
public. Yes, I know but on top of the water. So the very fact that you stayed in the pool with your dangly legs out and got your trunks off, and then thought that was what part of that was a good idea that you thought, oh, this is okay? Why couldn't you just get out of the pool and do it? It's just ridiculous.
Well, because people might see if you get out of the pool.
Yeah,
if you do it underwater, no one's going to see.
How lazy do you have to be that you can't go into a changing room and change your trunks that are now too small for you? Transparency and security should always double layer when you're wearing white. That's the thing.
Is that the rule?
That's the thing. You should be asking for forgiveness from just about everybody. Your poor wife, the poor waitresses. I noticed nobody gave you free extra breakfast. So when you talk about a magnifying window, it still wasn't
Steady.
enough, was it, for a free breakfast? Anyway, you're not forgiven, Em.
Brother Matthew.
Yes. Well, it strikes me as a very sort of continental thing. My understanding of French swimming pools is that you're not allowed to wear shorts. Obviously you have to wear trunks. They stop you wearing shorts. So actually, in a funny way, wasn't he actually complying with our Gallic cousins in a way? What? I mean, what are the chances of there being windows underneath the pool? I never checked that. None of us ever check it. So I'm obviously going to forgive, because it could have happened to any of us if we'd decided to change our pants.
It is
in the
quite an
middle of the
interesting
pool.
point. There would be quite a few people who would not want the bits of you that are underwater to be viewed by people having
feels
their
a bit
breakfast.
70s, doesn't it? Feels a bit sort of, hello, my dear. We've got windows underneath the pool, Really?